Not a scientist. I'm not an expert in footballs. I'm not an expert in football measurements.
I don't want anyone rubbing them, putting any air in them, taking any air out. To me, those balls are.
Those balls are perfect.
We had a malfunction. It did not go live.
No, it's live.
An error has occurred. Are we live?
Yeah, it's live.
Okay, well, we had a little.
That's the end of the intro song. All right, here we go.
Sorry about that, kids.
All those warm, fuzzy feelings we had a week ago after our drafts are gone. Into the fray, reacting, overreacting, and adjusting the ranks as we go. I know week one always feels this way, but man, week one, 2024 feels like the most week one week ever. Stacks, my fellow fantasy millionaire, how you feeling after this weekend?
Not great. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not the best. I got half my teams are crushing it and just delivering amazing performances. And then the other half of my teams are making me not want to play fantasy football ever again. So, it's just
just one weekend. It's just
right.
It's insane how fast it happens sometimes.
Right. One of my teams in the league I've won 3 straight in a row is just already a shit storm. It's over, baby. My 4-peat chances are over. So it's fun while it lasted, Scott Hansen. It's not looking great.
Dude, I mean, how about I was freaking out after the first game with Mark Andrews. I mean, it just all weekend long, just adjusting the ranks. I know this happens every year, and I know this is part. It's just this week one really. I mean, Jordan Love. Cash Collins was just dropping F-bombs if somebody took Jordan Love from me. And now I'm
that was your guy.
Yeah, good. Yeah. But meanwhile, I drafted so much of Green Bay offense. I have Christian Watson almost every team. And Jordan Love, thank the heavens, it seems like he's going to be back this year. But all your Packers take a hit, right? Like, that's not good. Joe Burrow,
right? Joey B.
His hand injury, like he can't throw the football. Like my favorite guy.
Told you that bone was going to be a problem in the summer. Oh shit, Joe B. What happened to you?
You know what? We're going to talk about everybody. So Joe B. is part of my people I'm talking about on this show. But I'll tell you, just overall, the data belies this, but the things that I saw in that game, I mean, he had like 2 different touchdowns called back. So his fantasy day would have been a little different if that hadn't happened, but still. The data does show he was sucking. Like there was no pressure on him, and he played like one of his worst games ever. Now, is that his hand? I don't know. I didn't see anything. I didn't see him missing. He looked like I didn't see anything with Joey B, but just Joey B is just one of just every single person. Like, dude, draft season is over, man. Like all the stuff we thought I was right about some stuff. I was wrong about some stuff. I'm definitely glad I grabbed J.K. Dobbins in some leagues.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a great call right now. J.K. Dobbins looking like a league winner late in the rounds. Holy schmoly!
I know. Yeah, but man, just
anarchy. It's anarchy is what it is.
Yesterday it was rough. I mean, I actually had a beautiful day earlier in the day because me and my son ran a 5K. So he got first place in his age division. That was really cool. Came home ready to watch some football, sit down and just everything is going sideways. I'm like, I'm not looking at my phone, didn't look at my phone. And then I didn't need to look at my phone because there's nothing happening with my guys. So
yeah, I gotta say, I did notice that we lost a few of our matchups in leagues that we share, and I went to go check on how you were doing because I want my boy to be doing good. My boy Blue, and I was like, God damn, that's not great,
How about Saquon Barkley?
Well, Well, I made a little joke when he fell down on Twitter, and I said I got no shares. And then people kind of, gave me a hard time. Here's the reason I got no shares. I drafted like second, third, fourth, fifth. I didn't get in the back round even to get him. I
Should have
didn't.
drafted him with the second, third, and fourth pick. He's going to be RB1.
Should have done that. I know. Hindsight, right? Why didn't I do that? Right,
I'm saying, Saquon to the moon, bro.
It's a different world. What about the Giants organization and that clip that just keeps going around of John Mara going, "I don't want a division rival coming back to bite us." And yeah, you got Saquon, bitch. Your franchise is terrible. Your quarterback is terrible. Your stadium is a god awful cesspool of terribleness, and you don't have Saquon. So, hey, Giants, good fucking luck. Guess what? They'll still beat the Commanders next week, though, because you never know. You never know.
I'll put 1,000 on that. There's
okay.
No
well, they beat the Commanders last year.
The worst team in the NFL.
Tommy DeVito
and the Giants.
The Giants beat the Commanders last year twice. Once with Tommy Balls of Steel DeVito and Tyrod still in the league. Taylor. So, dude, We'll talk. It was crazy. It was wild. What do you think about Deshaun Watson's career? Just flames out the back of his career right now. He looks god awful in Cleveland right now. And Jameis Winston is just banging the drum for himself. He's saying crab prayers and going, "Oh, bang, bang, Jameis coming on." And that guy is going to be the starting quarterback in like 3 weeks.
Dude, I wish I had it. Because thankfully the show, we can just kind of say what we want. I don't need to have all the tweets pulled up. So I'm just pulling this, out of the ass cracks of my mind. And I'm sure this is not exactly what was said in this tweet. But it was by somebody reputable, that we like in the industry, like a Scott Barrett type of person. And I think the stat was something like, I don't know if it was QBR or just it was all the different measurements that went into a QB performance. It was like, all the different metrics. It's like the 6th worst game of all time or something like that. I was like, really bad.
The 6th worst game? That's crazy.
I know I'm saying it wrong, but it was like, whatever it was like, it was really bad. I mean, he did not play well. So I wouldn't have thought it was that bad. I think I'm saying it wrong or misunderstanding something, because there's no way it's the 6th worst. I mean, I thought Bryce Young's was the 6th worst of all time, or Daniel Jones. I mean, but yeah, Deshaun Watson. And then I saw them talking about how there's, and this has already been known, but I saw the numbers again. They can't even cut him because they're going to owe him like $200 million or something like that. Like, they have to pay him.
It's terrible. They almost have to play him as well.
Mm-hmm.
How do you let $200 million sit?
Yeah. The thing is I don't think, like, I listen, I would rather have Deshaun Watson than Daniel Jones or Bryce Young. So I mean, he at least still looks like he can move, and he's hard to bring down. He just needs to get his. I don't know why he can't. He was one of the most accurate, best quarterbacks for a long time. I think has the all-time throwing yards record in the state of Georgia, I believe. Wherever he went, whatever state he went to high school, like, I mean, he's been an Aaron Rodgers caliber dude, and then he just stopped all of a sudden. Yeah. Weird.
Somebody. Well, I mean, he got suspended for a year of football, quote unquote, exempt list, whatever. Somebody said Deshaun Watson's career died on that massage table, and so far they've been proven correct in the 3 years since that happened. We talked about it then, and maybe 3.5 years. I don't know how long it's been. He's just been dog shit as an investment. If that's your quarterback, remember Arthur Blank wanted him. Miami wanted to get rid of Tua for him. Everybody wanted him. And man, what a big fat flop he's been. So But hey, listen, it wasn't all bad news. In the midst of all of that, I got to tell you the best story ever. I go to check my apps. I'm moving around the apps. I'm in DraftKings. I'm in the sports book, whatever. I go to DraftKings and I notice I'm up like $30, $40 on my winnings this week. I'm just like, yeah, let's go. Let's get some money, $30, whatever. I look at the top. I've got like 500 extra bucks in my account, right? Or whatever. I'm like, what? Where'd that come from? Forgot. I put a bet in on Friday with the junkies, sports junkies here in Washington, D.C. They're doing it on FanDuel. I don't have FanDuel, but I have DraftKings. So I went and did it on DraftKings. And T. Higgins was in there. It was a touchdown prop, and they had like 5 guys in there. And since T. Higgins was in there and he was out, I just kind of thought the bet was dead. Didn't even think about it. I couldn't change it. It was already locked. I couldn't get him out of there. So I was like, whatever. I'm going to lose. I don't care. It's $10. I'll live to play another day. I won that bet. The T. Higgins was just nullified. They just kicked T. Higgins off the card. I won 4 of those touchdowns. Mike Evans, Brian Robinson, a couple other guys got TDs for me. So not Jamar, Justin Jefferson. So thank you. I've got a couple extra $100 already, and it helped to cushion the fantasy losses. Getting a little bit of your payback. I'm already up EV in leagues. If I'm losing these leagues, I've already paid them off. Who cares? So a little bit of good news. In the midst of the shitstorm that is the first week. And by the way, we also didn't mention Puka Nacua down and Puka Nacua. Pour one out for Puka and his knee. He re-injured a knee injury from training camp day to day, but not great if you have invested your first round pick in a day to day. That's not what you want right now. So I don't know. Who are you more worried about?
Ferguson, David Njoku.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just wild rough week 1, dude.
Yes. And those were light. I actually, if you look in the middle of the year, it'll be like 10 dudes will go down, in the middle of the year. The first couple of weeks, it seems like it's a lot of dudes because there's no one there. But man, once they get a little bit of attrition on them, a little bit of the wear on the tires, and the real injuries come out, it's scary. So this is, count your lucky stars.
Love though. I mean, that's
that was a big blow. It's a top 10 QB, maybe up MVP candidate. His season gone. All those bets down the drain.
How about that? Was those first 2 games were just awesome too. The Chiefs versus the Ravens, and then the Packers versus the Eagles. Like those were like the best games ever. They were so good.
Yeah. And that last game too, I had to go to bed. But overtime game, nice way to start the week and end the week with just bangers.
Any worries on MHG? Yes.
Yeah.
Lots
of
worries
from the beginning.
Somebody else that we didn't mention. There's too much. We don't have enough time. There's just too many people. Lots of worries on him for sure. Yes.
Yeah. And if you're not on the Greg Dortch train, you didn't read wide receiver 230. He was the last guy on the train. I think I've got Dortch on almost every single team that I've drafted. He had more targets. He outpointed. Not that he's going to do this all year, but you can just see where Kyler Murray is comfortable, where he's looking, what he's doing. They're at the same height level. They're like 4'8", both of them. It's like 2 little munchkins running around out there, seeing each other, being like, I see you, bro. I see you, bro. So get Dortched if you don't have it. We'll talk about him. Only 1% rostered, 1.2%.
How about every single wide receiver coming out of Ohio State except for Garrett Wilson? We'll have to see. Unless if Aaron Rodgers gets injured tonight, then
right.
All the greatest wide receivers in college, I have worries about every single one of them.
Just got the word Puka might be headed to the IR for a little 6-game stint. Oh, that is terrible if that is true. That is not good news. Demarcus Robinson, I think Tyler Johnson's there too. A couple other guys might come to mind. But you see how many targets Cooper Kupp had yesterday? Ungodly amount. He had 21 fucking targets. Man, you stole Cooper Kupp from me in one league, I believe. God damn you. God,
I have multiple Cooper Kupp.
Damn you. Yeah, I got a couple shares too. So I was big on Cooper Kupp. He was one of my guys this year. And now I'm wishing I got a different pick or something so I can get higher up in the draft or lower in the draft, whatever, to get that guy. Because, I definitely talked about him as a wide receiver 2 breakout this year, as he always is every other year. As he's undervalued, overvalued, undervalued. He's in the undervalue cycle now. So.
Dude, I would like to just keep running over week 1, but we got to get into stuff, dude. We're doing a show.
We have a show.
Made, the wire, elevate, mitigate, eviscerate, and stacks of cash. So, you want to get into it?
Yeah. Why don't you lead off? Now, in trades to get paid, we have a couple different categories, right? So, Mike, you want to run through kind of how we categorize guys, and then guys that you're kind of seeking to maybe make a trade for right now.
You basically got 4 different options for trade to get paid. Buy low, buy high, sell low, sell high. You want to sell a player that you think you can get value for coming off a good game. You want to sell a player that you think is just going to get worse. You want to buy a guy who's coming off a good game and buy a guy who's coming off a bad game. So
I like it. That's a great breakdown. Where do you want to start? I'll let you have the floor on this first one. You buying, you selling, wheeling, dealing. How are you looking at this week?
all right, I'm going to go with, let's start with buy low. Okay.
Okay.
There's a lot, it's week 1. There's a lot of data to consume. I love doing buy low. Okay. I'm going with Mark Andrews. I do think Isaiah Likely is the truth. Okay. Fast forward to the wire. Can't wait to talk Isaiah Likely in the tight end section. To me, number 1 pickup of the week. I think he's going to be a thing. Meanwhile, Mark Andrews, this is from Annie Holloway. I rewatched every snap that Mark Andrews was on the field last night. I was the lowest on our show in Andrews coming into the year, so I could take a pretend victory lap, but instead I have a message after watching the film. Do not panic. Here's why. I added up every opportunity for a target through the entire night based on the coverage and routes run. First half, 1 dump off opportunity, no target, 1 dump off caught penalty, 1 dump off, no target. Second half, over the middle, 1 catch, dump off, no target, 1 flat opportunity catch. He was bracketed on anything downfield all night. On the final 2 plays of the game, he had 3 defenders covering him. This will not be the norm. Pass rush led to piles of design screens where he blocked to Likely and Hill. He had 6, maybe 7 or 8 opportunities for targets in this one. And no, these weren't plays where if he got better separation, he'd have had the shots. There's legitimately no reason to panic here. I didn't rank him as high because I believe Likely's talent was impossible to keep off the field, but Andrews is going to be fine. This play isn't. Oh, anyway, that's a highlight of the play. So here's the thing. Andrews going in rounds 4 or 5. I believe this is a good opportunity to buy low because they're now there were 8 awesome tight ends. There was Jake Ferguson and David Njoku. Now it looks like we're down to 5 because really 6 because I think Mark Andrews is still a viable option, and I think there's going to be. I know I'm in a league where I was watching the game with the manager and he was freaking out, and I think you could get Mark Andrews for a little bit cheaper, and I think he's going to still be Mark Andrews. But I think Annie Holloway with a great call, and other people, Isaiah Likely is not available in every league. Like there's other people who had this vision that this could happen. I did not know he's going to be the wide receiver 2 on that team. Wide receiver 2 theory with a tight end in the mix. Like he might be the wide receiver 1 on that team. So does that have anything to do with Mark Andrews? No, it does not. That was the thing that was blowing my mind all night. I was like, Andrews there. He's out there. He's running around. I thought maybe he got in a car accident. They were using him as a decoy. No, he was there. He was doing what Mark Andrews does. They were D'ing him up. And so Isaiah Likely,
he was open.
Right. He
was the guy.
But I think Mark Andrews is still somebody that is going to be, week in, week out, double-digit tight end guy, which is more valuable after week 1.
Yeah. No, I like that call. That's a good call. My buy low is somebody who I have and somebody who I said to play last week, and he did not play well. And that is Raheem Mustard. And I told you to must start him. I was wrong. I got to eat the crow on that one and say he's not somebody who you should have must started. I did must start him last week. He had 9 carries for 6 yards, 1.5 yards. Not great. Devin Achane, the RB1 on that team. But here's the deal. If you watch the game, and I watched most of that game, I put that game on the main screen so I could watch it. Devin Achane looked great, but man, my boy gets hit a lot. He's got a lot of carries. They run him up the gut. I don't think that this is going to be sustained where he gets 20 carries a game. I do think it'll level out a little bit. And so maybe wait until it bottoms out a little more. But I think you can get Raheem Mustard. Mustard right now. We'll call him Raheem Mustard because he's not doing great. But I do think that offense is just so prolific, and that offense is going to score. They did not have a great game. They did not have a great day. Their star was arrested outside of the stadium. Still got an 80-yard touchdown. But I still believe in him, and I think that offense, Jalen Wright was out as well. Don't give up on Raheem yet. Don't give up. I know he's an old guy, but wait and see what happens. If you can stash him, I think that offense is just too explosive. He had 20 touchdowns last year. It's not over yet, guys. Just wait a little bit. Maybe a couple weeks in, it's over, but not yet.
I'll tell you what, this is all just rumor and conjecture because it's just based on watching Devin Achane limp off the field. But there is a little rumor that his hammy might have got a little dinged up, so that adds a ton of value to Mustard as well.
Yeah, and then maybe we won't be calling him Mustard anymore. We'll go back to Mostert. And then maybe he'll be Mustard. But right now he's Mustard for sure, since he, stank it up and got all over your beautiful shirt at the cookout, and the girl didn't like you, and you fell in the pool, and your dick came out, and it was small. All that kind of stuff yesterday. So
yeah, all right.
Yep. All right, you going to sell high, sell low, buy high?
Buy high.
Ooh, buy high. All right, you lead us off. I've got a few, but
Okay. I'm gonna go. So I mean, and whenever I do this, I try and I actually put a lot of thought into, trading is hard, right? In redraft, people do not like to trade.
Really hard.
It's just difficult. So, you got to kind of jump on things before it becomes impossible. So buy highs are almost impossible. I'm going to go with J.K. Dobbins as my buy high because the fantasy drafter got him in potentially the 13th round, right? So their team, if they're stacked, or they need a wide receiver or something like that. And the thing is I would buy high on it because he was, Cash Collins had some good calls and some bad calls going into this season. He was one of my good calls. I said it on the show. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be a thing. And I was something I thought a lot about. I was like, there was buzz. You just look at his career in the 12 or so games that he's played in the NFL. He is really, really good. And he is set up in this offense to have lanes. And it's not going to be, I said that from the idea. I had opportunities to draft Gus Edwards and I drafted J.K. Dobbins instead of Gus Edwards. I thought that he was going to be a thing. I didn't know he was going to come right out of the gate. I thought this would be more of a slow burn, but man, he came out hot, and I just think it's going to keep going. So I think give up somebody good for real, because I think that he's going to be somebody that's, in that like high end RB2 range, as long as he doesn't get injured for the 2024 season. So give up somebody good, buy high.
I like that. I've got two guys, and unfortunately, PFF is so far behind. They only have the stats loaded, and so I can't even show you their stats. Like, you didn't work yesterday, PFF. You didn't work between yesterday and today to upload your fucking stats. That's why we use you. You're PFF. You're the stats team, right? You gotta get your fucking stats up here. You got an automated system for stats. You got nothing on JK. It's disappointing. Anyway, two stood out to me. I try to get them both. They're both mid-round running backs. One is Ramondre Stevenson. Man, that guy got a lot of carries yesterday. He was all over the board. I love what I saw from him. Just wouldn't stop. They're giving him the ball 25 times. You're not going to stop him. Maybe the first time you won't. Maybe the second time you won't. Maybe the third time you will. But he's just going to get the rock again and again and again. And then Joe Mixon, another one of those guys who he switched teams. And last year they couldn't run the ball for shit. And then now all of a sudden they're like, hey, we got Joe Mixon. We can run the ball. So Houston's kind of revamped their line. They've got a new system in place with their lead RB. They got Singletary out of there. And I think both those guys are going to return value this season. They're not going to get you as much. So maybe wait for them to have a little bit more of a down performance. But, hey, it might not come. particularly with Joe Mixon. I think he's set up for a lot of success. So I don't like him. I didn't like him before, but I'm adjusting the ranks, as the kids say. He wasn't one of my guys. I went wide receiver in those rounds, but you can't deny the value. And the offense just can put up points. They're one of the top 7 offenses in the NFL. So I would definitely get Joe Mixon or Ramondre as a part B. So
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, sell high. I'm going with sell high. Always dicey, right? Because again, it's week 1, and people are gonna kind of know things. So this is to me, this is I have no shares of this player, but if I did, watching there was a couple people I was thinking about selling high on. But I'm gonna sell high on Rashad White. I think Bucky Irving is going to be a thing.
Mhm.
Rashad White had 18.5 points PPR, something like that, depending on the scoring system around there. So good week, doing Rashad White things. I think he caught 6 balls, and that's historically what he's done. So you're like, okay, good. He finished top 5 RB last year. I think Bucky Irving's going to be a thing, and he caught some passes as well. So if he starts catching passes, Rashad White could be in trouble because he outrushed him significantly. I mean, Bucky Irving was the better ground running back. All he needs to do is catch some balls, and situation flips.
Doesn't it seem like Rashad White's like running in slow motion sometimes when you watch him? Is it just me, or is he like when he gets out on those screens and stuff? He's kind of like dancing around a little bit. He's not like taking off. He doesn't really go with full speed. I don't know. Bucky Irving just seems quicker, more agile.
I mean, Rashad White's got an amazing life story because he shouldn't be in the NFL. Like he's just like backdoored his way. I think he did like community college and then like walked on and then was like, I don't know what round he was drafted, late or undrafted. I mean,
the 6th round or something.
Yeah, the talent profile throughout his career, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. And
Underdog.
He's an underdog, but I don't know. I think he's somebody that you could sell high on because he was going 2nd, 3rd round, and he had a good week. And I do think Bucky Irving's going to be a thing.
Yeah. Here's what I would do. I think that's I love that. I like that call a lot. Here's what I would do. I would find the Amon-Ra St. Brown manager, and I would trade him if you have Jameis Williams. I would trade him. Jameson Williams to him because that boy is the truth. Now, maybe you don't want to trade him. Maybe you want to keep him. Maybe you want to flaunt him. Maybe just dangle it and just make him feel like it's a big deal. But
high?
I think that's a sell high. Yeah. Jameson Williams. I put him up as a wide receiver 2 candidate this year as a breakout. And what I had kind of shared was, injury coming in, kind of the season's already started. You're not in the mix. Suspension because of gambling, season's already started. You're not in the mix. It's hard to break into the NFL. Now you're healthy. The plays are being designed for you. You're there. The coach can count on you. They know you're there every week. They see you. You've been there for over a year, long time now, 2 years, but now you've been playing. This is the guy who can elevate this team. And I said last year, they're one of the top offenses without him being a superstar, just with him being a knucklehead or whatever. Now, I do think he's primed. I don't think he'll get 5 for 120 and a tutty. I don't think that'll be how it goes every week. So cash in, but I do think he's along for the ride. I do like him this year. And if you do have him, well played. Good job listening to good old Scotty the Stacks Simpson over here. My wife, she started talking a little shit, and I told her, I said, you should have listened to me. You should have drafted these guys. She said, you drafted my team. And I went, oh, shit.
Did she drop him in your league? Because I told my wife to pick him up. So she's on my wife's team. She picked him up pre-game. So
oh no, son of a bitch.
So that's your sell high. Okay, I've got an interesting sell low for you.
Very good. Sell low.
Yeah, sell low. So here's the thing. I think when it comes to sell low, okay, we could pick hot garbage, right? No one's going to buy your sell low. You want to get value for your sell low, right? I've got an extremely controversial sell low, okay?
I want to hear this.
I'm going Amon-Ra St. Brown as my solo to dovetail off of what you were just saying.
I love that. Tell me,
Here's the
unpack it.
thing. Here's the thing, man. I think Jameson Williams is going to be a thing. You saw the game. I remember 2 years ago being at the Expo and people were poo-pooing Amon-Ra St. Brown. They were like, dude, he's the third best wide receiver on their team and blah, 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 because of Hawkinson and Jameson Williams. And I was like, I don't agree with that. Whatever. You do you, boss. But Jameson Williams has had a ton of buzz and just not lived up to it. And he finally lives up to it last night. And here's the reason why I'm buying in with Jameson Williams, and I think it's going to affect Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameson Williams, they're on X, they have Coach Speak Index, right? And it tells you, this is an account that you can follow that will give you an update of what a coach says about a player. And then it tracks the reliability of like their truthfulness, right? Based on statements they've made in the past. Okay. Dan Campbell has very high variability in the Coach Speak Index. Like it's like a 90%. Like he says what he means and he means what he says, right? He's not saying like he's gonna, he didn't say, oh, he did sell low on Amon-Ra St. Brown. He did say though that Jameson Williams is the most improved player on our team, where we couldn't be more excited about him. He's just done everything that we've asked, and he has grown as a person and as a human being, and that he is going to be, a big part of this offense. So here's my thought on Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, hey, look, I'll buy him if you're selling too. Like, I mean, he almost scored a touchdown. He's a beast. He's Amon-Ra St. Brown. But
right, you want him.
Now you have Laporta, Gibbs, and Jameson Williams catching balls, right? People going to eat that. That to me, it's just math when it comes down to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I think he's a good person to sell low, because you're going to get, he's went 5th in drafts, right? So I would sell him for Mike Evans. Like I would do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, I love Mike Evans, and definitely called the Mike Evans breakout last week. We'll get that in Elevate, Mitigate, Eviscerate, because I like the victory lap, and I will never miss an opportunity to pat my own back, because no one else will do it for you unless you do it in this industry, kid. So, but with that being said, I like your play, and I think it's a good one. My solo might be Tank Dell at this point, because you can still get value for Tank. You got to scroll. I can't even find Tank right on here. He didn't have a terrible game, but you can just see he's not the main guy, right? He's a wide receiver 3. Diggs is the main guy. Diggs got 2 touchdowns. Red zone, you're looking for Diggs. You're also looking for Nico Collins. I still think there's value to be had in Tank Dell, because you could sell him to the CJ Stroud owner or roster or whoever, or you could sell him to the Diggs guy. I think that he is somebody who has value. He will have value. It just rotated. I mean, you're looking at 8 and 11 in fantasy points for wide receivers. That's 2 top 12 wide receivers. Tank Dell's going to get in there. Tank Dell's going to have his opportunities. Adjustments will happen next week, and Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins, they'll get a little bit more. Maybe Stephon Diggs will get a little bit more coverage. Guess who opens up? The Tank Dell, right? So I think Tank Dell is somebody who is worth going and selling at this point, letting people know. You can even wait for him to do a little better, but I think he's somebody you can get a little value for. And he's got to nuance it. You got to sell. You got to be a seller. You got to Joe West it up a little bit, if you know what I mean. So that's my guy. And I found we're going to use the NFL fantasy page instead today. They could pull up pictures of people, and they're a little shitty, but that's fine. We'll still use them. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's trades to get paid. Let's do the wire.
I like it. All right. Here's what we do for the wire. We're going to go by position, and we're going to talk about players that you should pick up by position. So we'll start with quarterback, and then we'll get to, Isaiah Likely, who I know that that we know, that everybody knows is the number one guy that you want to have on your team from the waiver wire this week. But with that being said, where are you picking up on the QBs? Because I've got a few myself. Is there anybody that you're targeting this week?
There's Baker, there's Derek Carr, and Geno Smith. Those are the main guys on the wire, right? And dude, it's Baker, right? I mean,
Yeah,
dude,
it's Baker.
for MVP, bro. Come on. Baker Mayfield he just continues to get better and better and better.
Yeah, if you listened to the show last week, I'll do my victory lap now. I tagged myself on Twitter and put it out there. I said he should be starting next week or last week against the Commanders. I said he should be the number one streaming QB. Pick him up, play him. I didn't listen to myself. I'm like, why am I not taking my own advice? My wife not listening to the show, not taking my advice. You should be listening to my advice. We all should be listening to my advice. Yeah, Baker Mayfield. Matthew Stafford, these guys are 34% rostered, both of them. What are we doing? What are we doing, kids? Both those guys like to chuck it and fuck it. You got to get those guys, both of them. Matthew Stafford, I put Baker above and then Matthew Stafford number 2, particularly with Puka maybe being out for a while. I think that definitely kind of puts him down a notch, and I would go balls to the walls if you could, if you can, for Baker.
Balls to the walls for Baker, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he even likes to throw to his running backs too. So he's throwing the football a lot of times. You know what I mean? I mean, this is what you want. And he's also the number 2 QB right now. That's what you want. So yeah. I'm all that. By the way, look at Jaden Daniels there at number 3.
Dude, let me say this was something in our little BS portion that I wish I'd mentioned, and since his name's right there, I want to bring it up. I watched this today on the X machine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was a highlight of Anthony Richardson.
Oh, just
okay. The pocket was collapsing. I saw the play, was watching Red Zone when it happened, but I didn't see it like this. The pocket's collapsing.
You didn't see the end zone angle. That's what you didn't see.
Well, no, I just didn't notice this. I didn't see it. Yeah, I guess it was the end zone angle. I don't know.
You couldn't see because everyone's moving around in there and shit.
Pocket collapses. He gets away, loses his footing, regains his footing, sort of, and proceeds to throw a 65 to 70 yard dime to Alec Pierce. But whether it was a dime or not, I don't care. He just wasn't even set, and he just launched it. It was honestly, I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my whole life on a football field. Like, I did not know he could do that. That was insane. Who can do that? I don't think there's anyone that could do that.
He was falling back too. He didn't even have both feet. He wasn't planted. No, he was between steps, and all I can say is Cam Newton immediately put on a new hat and started getting all excited when he saw it. That was just Cam Newton couldn't do that, by the way, if he wanted to. If he took all his arm strength and tried to throw as far as he could, Cam Newton could not do that. That was wild. That was wild. Let's take a look real quick if you want to look at a pattern here. You got Josh Allen rushing, Jaden Daniels rushing, Anthony Richardson rushing, Derek Carr rushing. 3 of the top 5. Lamar Jackson, Anthony. Yeah, 4 of the top 5, except for Baker. Except for the Baker. You got rushing TDs. So, yeah, it's a rushing world right now. So Baker for sure. And then I'd say Stafford. And then, Geno's down there as well. Geno's available. I think he's only rostered in 15% of leagues. Derek Carr is available 4% of leagues. Sam Darnold 4%. There's guys who are going to throw the football that you can grab. What about RB? Who's somebody you're targeting at the RB position?
Yeah, it's already thin. It always is. Everybody gets snapped up, but Alexander Madison.
Yep.
He got a ton of PPR work.
That hurdle. Bo McBurn used to watch that hurdle and tell me if he's athletic or not.
I saw that guy JV Knows from our league too say Zamir White could never, and it's like, dude, I don't agree with that at all.
I think Zamir White could do that. Yeah, he could.
Yeah, I'm not. Zamir White didn't have a good game, but the second half of that game, even with him fumbling, he looks just. I'm still not that worried about. I just think Zamir White is one of the few backs that he could take it to the house at any second, like maybe more than like Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley. I mean, he just looks like if you give him a little space, he's gone, dude. I mean, you saw him in that, but he was getting these 8-yard carries because he's just bursting through the hole. So all he needs is a couple good games. But meanwhile, he's not the PPR back. People worried about Dylan Lobb. It's not him. It's Alexander Madison. He's the one that's getting the PPR work, and it looks valuable to me.
Yeah.
So him and Justice Hill for me, same thing.
Yeah. I think I had Bucky Irving, and then I think after that I would go Justice Hill, and then Alexander Madison. I think that'd be my list. Zach Charbonnet, he's also somebody who make sure he's rostered. He's got some giddy up in him, got a little PPR action too.
Kenneth Walker might have an ab injury too.
Yes, I know. Please, not so loud. And then Tank Bigsby, he's not on this list, but Tank Bigsby actually, he didn't look too bad, right? And
I was considering putting ETN on sell low because of Tank Bigsby, dude.
Yeah. My man was 73 yards in it. I mean, he's a decimal back. He didn't get a touchdown. He had 73 yards. He had 7.3 points. But he's just somebody you need to keep on your radar if you're, an ETN guy too. Just see what happens there. So yeah, those are the guys. And Jamal Williams, don't forget him. I mean, the Saints blew him out, but obviously there's no Miller there. He's on IR. So if ever Kamara comes out, there's Jamal. He got you 12 points, 14 points, something like that. So, not somebody who I want on my team, but him and Kamara combined for 34 fantasy points. So that's a nice little backfield there. It's, something you could build with, whatever. All right. Speaking of the Saints, this is a good little combo. My guy, Raheed Shaheed. Yeah, let's go find him here. He's right here. He's 13th. I told you guys to get him. I got him everywhere. You stole him from me somewhere, you piece of shit. But Rashid Shaheed came through with the first touchdown of the year already. He got behind the coverage. He does what he does all the time. He only had 3 catches for 73 and 1 touchdown. He's efficient, though. And that's what he does. He's like Brandon Ayuk. He's like mini Brandon Ayuk, right? He doesn't get a lot of targets, but the targets he gets, he cashes in. So I'm a big Shaheeder. And, I'm a little, we'll talk about elevate, mitigate, eviscerate. I'm a little worried about him this week against the Cowboys. But still, I think he's somebody that you got to have, and he's only rostered 42% of. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's stupid. So get him. He's wide receiver 2 on their team. He's not going to be better than Olave necessarily every week, even though he was this week. But he's the wide receiver 2 on the team. Get him. So, yeah.
Olave.
Yeah. What about you for wide receiver? I know. Didn't draft him. No shares. What about you for wide receiver?
Your wide receiver 2 theory, Greg Dortch. Give me the human Dortch. Brandon Cooks and Greg Dortch to me are the pickups I'm targeting at that position this week.
Yeah, for sure. Greg Dortch, I think he had was it 11 targets or no? He had 8 targets. But still, 8 targets. I love 8 targets. I'll take 8 targets all day long. I think Wandale Robinson had like 12 targets or something too. So, Wandale's in the conversation, particularly going up against the Commanders this week, who are one of the worst against wide receivers. So, if you can't get Dortch, Wandale, I think him and Malik are right here, kind of neck and neck. So I think Wandale should be rostered on teams.
Brandon Cooks is 30% owned too, so he's out there, dude. So,
Cooks for sure.
Yeah.
And then is it Don Vele or is it just Don Vale? I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I've never heard of him. He did have 8 receptions for 39 yards. That's insane. It's like 4.9 yards of reception. That's not good. But still, it's a lot of targets. So, he's not somebody I'm targeting, but just keep an eye on him. That offense is god awful. Bo Nix and Sean Payton are going to both get fired together. They can watch their careers both end at the same time.
Okay with it. I'm still think things can happen. I'm not as gloomy on him yet. I mean, it's his first NFL game. So
they look terrible. He almost looked as bad as Caleb Williams. So that's something we didn't even talk about.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Caleb Williams. I mean, he's not. They're rookies, right?
Yeah,
we can't just get rid of them yet, right?
All right, fine. But yeah, those are some of the guys that I think I would target, and then that's it. Those are all the guys. Alec Pierce too. Look for Pierce. I mean, he's not going to get those big catches every week.
Maybe he will though.
Maybe he might, but maybe he will though.
I mean, that's what Richardson is the farther away you are, the more accurate he is. Like,
Right.
get down the field.
That's the tweet right there. The further you are away from Anthony Richardson, the more accuracy he has with that pass. That is exactly right.
Crazy.
But that's what Alec Pierce does. He's a guy who gets behind the defense, and with there's no Josh Downs, so that's helpful for him. And then Mitchell almost got behind the defense a couple times too. Mitchell could have been in those highlights too. He just got overthrown a couple times. So
could have had 2 TDs, 2 tutties.
Yeah. He was doing well, Anthony Richardson there. I like it a lot. So okay. Tight ends. As we move over to tight ends, it's the Isaiah Likely show.
It's likely going to be a lot of likely talk.
Yes. And no, he will not do this again, probably right away. But man, you love to see the targets and the receptions. It's very sexy. And the touchdowns too. And that he was putting people in coffins when he was moving down the field. He looked like smooth as butter. And then he just stopped on a dime in front of the goal line. And then the guy went by him. And then that was just sick.
So here's the rest of the tight ends. There's Juwan Johnson. There's Chig. There's
Chig,
Colby
that's it.
Parkinson.
Yeah.
I think all those guys are worth an ad. With the way tight ends are, I think all those guys.
Yeah, I agree. Right in here.
Isaiah Likely, I do think he's going to do this again. And in fact, this is what I want to get into.
I just mean not this week. I just don't expect 25
targets.
points.
Is he going to have 12 targets this week?
No, he'll have like 8.
Probably not.
8 targets looks good.
Dude, the thing that was blowing my mind when I'm watching that, and I'm in the middle actually of a draft and there's betting going on. So I'm not like sitting down watching it like I'm watching the All-22 package and just going over every play. I didn't need to. The whole time I just kept seeing like he's playing wide receiver. They have a new wide receiver. It's like a Taysom Hill situation here. You can put this guy in. How about this, Stacks?
He's a new wide receiver.
Your boy likes to dump all his fab as quick as possible. I'm unloading the chamber on week 1. I'm doing it. I don't care if
this is your guy
is in my league. I'm getting him. I don't care. I don't think this is a fluke. And this is the other thing. This is why I'm ready to jump out there. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You got 4 weeks. Now, at the end of the season, there could be an RB injury, and you'll be glad you had 15 more fab than the guy who, is under you. I'm not saying stupid. It's nice to have it at the end of the year. But meanwhile, I win my leagues always because I get the guys in the first 4 weeks because what you know. I don't think this is a fluke. Last year, Puka Nacua did it in week 1. I think I waited till after week 2 before I dumped half my fab. Okay. I think that this could be this year's Puka Nacua. I really do. I think Isaiah Likely is this year's Puka Nacua. I think he is going to be getting targets in games. It's not this wasn't some like Kevin Ogletree 3 touchdown game, like some weird fluky thing. He was doing this
he's a beast
anyway. He's a
beast.
Yeah, they're gonna fit him in this offense.
Yeah, imagine throwing to Nelson Aguilar or Isaiah Likely. Because with Nelson Aguilar, you're playing up against a corner who just bat the ball away. With Isaiah Likely, you're going up against probably a mid-sized linebacker, might be 6'1", maybe 6'2", or a safety who's 6 foot. And this guy, it's like 6'9". He's like Goliath out there. Okay, he's not really 6'9", but he is like Goliath out there compared to them. I bet you he's 6'4". So, yeah, I'm a big fan of dumping your fab. I don't want you to expect to get 26 points this week when you dump it. You know what I mean? Like just,
But if you get a tight end that gets you 15 points,
I know
game, like,
it's a game changer. It's
so
a complete game. And what about Foster Moreau coming out of nowhere too? I'm not into him. He's questionable, but still, like, man, the Saints are just they've got tight ends out the ass.
That touchdown pass though.
Would you say
that's because he caught that touchdown pass? I want Juwan Johnson on that.
Oh, I know. Well, Juwan Johnson caught a touchdown pass too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why he's up here. So it kind of works both ways. Yeah, and then defenses. Not a lot of great defenses out there.
How about Chargers at Carolina?
I was gonna say there's one Chargers. Their defense looked really, really good. And of course, the Raiders look really, really bad.
And they're playing the Carolina Panthers, who this is, dude, Bryce Young. I thought Dave Canales was the QB whisperer. I did not think Bryce Young was going to take some major step forward, but everybody was saying he's going to be much better. I thought he would be better marginally. I thought he was hot trash last year.
Yeah.
One of the worst QBs I've ever seen go with the number 1 overall pick. I just, it happens in the NFL. It's fluky, but this guy is not good. Okay. And
he's bad at football.
I thought this guy was going to come in and do what needed to be done to help him take a step forward. And as of week 1, he has not.
No, he's taken some steps backwards.
It was so bad. Every pass was so bad. It's like so bad. Every single, he just kept, he almost had like 10 interceptions. Like I didn't understand it.
His first throw of the year was an interception, and it wasn't even near the receiver. So
it's weird.
It's not good. Yeah. Well, Carolina, listen, I don't want to say anything bad about any certain, fan bases or anything like that, but their owner is like a little mini Donald Trump. Like he's a big guy who, likes to like make people do what he wants. And like, I think there was a restaurant that was like running some promo that was like making fun of him. And I think his name is Tepper. He went in and like complained to the management about it, at some bar or something. He's just a real big egotistical douchebag. And he is the Jerry Jones of the South, where Jerry Jones runs Dallas and used to have Dan Snyder. He's the same type of dumbass. He doesn't know anything and thinks he does, and he doesn't know shit. He's just a billionaire losing lots of money. So good. I hope they keep sucking. So I like that. That's a great pickup. And they're the 4th highest scoring defense. So wheels up. That's a great call. So
all right, let's do elevate, mitigate, eviscerate. First one of the season, real one.
Yes. Well, it does take a little tempering. My elevate was Matthew Stafford versus the Cardinals at the QB position. Given the Puka Nacua injury news, I'm a little wary about that. Just, I think you need to have all of your weapons. And so I'm gonna instead pivot over to Baker to keep him elevated. I elevated him last week. I'm going to keep Baker elevated. I'm not going to unelevate him. If you had him last week, I told you to play him last week. Continue to play him this week. He's going to play the Detroit Lions, who just happened to give up the most fantasy points to the wide receiver position last week. If you check out the NFL stats, they gave up 61 points to the Rams. Okay. That was just pretty much Cooper Kupp too, right? So the other, side of that shoe is that you've got Mike Evans and you've got Chris Godwin.
And Jalen McMillan looks like he's good too.
Yep. You've got a squad. So I would say Baker is my guy this week. He's gonna get his. He's gonna get his. Detroit gave up, a little bit of points there. Stafford. I think Baker's better than Stafford. I think he's also more mobile than Stafford. Stafford's just a sitting duck back there with this terrible line. So I think Baker and the boys do a kind of like a comeback series, against the Lions. And I think they put up a really good game. They lost last year in the playoffs. It's like a little weird. You play these two teams last in the playoffs, Detroit, except for the 49ers, who you lost to, but you're going to play the two teams you beat in the playoffs to start your season. How about that? So a little bit of a revenge narrative for Tampa Bay. They did get dinged up in the defense, so I think this is going to be a shootout, particularly in their secondary. They had a couple guys go out in the game, so we'll see how they kind of heal up for this week. But if they're not, particularly healthy, then Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, they're going to run all over them, Laporta, and then they're going to need to chuck it with Mike Evans. So I love Baker. That's my guy since Stafford kind of might be losing one of his top pukas.
Baker to the moon, bro. To me, it was between Baker and I'm going with Jaden Daniels versus the Giants.
Oh, I love that. That's a great call too.
Yeah, give me Jaden, dude. I mean, you know what? I didn't even think he played that good. I drafted I drafted Terry McLaurin in a lot of leagues. Very nervous about that because it looks like it's going to take him a while to develop as a quarterback. But meanwhile, doesn't need to because he looks like Lamar Jackson. Minus he is a little bit more dangerous and more willing to take hits, which makes me nervous.
Yes.
But it doesn't make me nervous going up against the Giants. So I'm going ahead and throw him in.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's a great DFS play too.
Yeah.
Too bad he doesn't have anybody to play with. You play him naked. That's fine. You know,
I have him as mine, and I'll show you who I want to pair it with.
We'll nuance it. Okay. I like it. I can't wait to see. Don't be Olamide Zacchaeusing me. I don't know if I can climb up that tree with you.
I got a good one. I love it.
All right, good. I'm interested. But I do like Jaden Daniels a lot. And so Baker or Jaden, I think, are both great plays against bad matchups or good matchups for them, bad matchups when it comes to your fantasy opponent. So I'm with you there 100%. Running back, I'm going to be elevating Jerome Ford. Now, here's why. Jerome Ford, he is the RB1 in Cleveland. They did not play well. Deshaun Watson did not play well. But my boy got like 7 targets. He's like a PPR leader here, a PPR thought leader. And so I think the points will come. You know, he was 8th RB here. He had 6 receptions, 7 targets, only 25 yards receiving. But all that's 6 points right there, right? So I'll take that. And you also had a little tutty. You got to have a touchdown. He had a rushing touchdown. So I really do think that this offense is bad. But Jerome Ford is kind of offense proof because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. There's no Kareem Hunt. He's gone. And, we don't have any Deonta Foreman. He's not a pass catcher either. And then Nick Chubb's on the pup. So, Jerome Ford this week also, he's going up against, I believe, let me see who the Fordster is. He playing
Jaguars?
I think the Jags. And if you just watch them, they just gave up a shit ton of points to the running back position. And I love NFL fantasy, by the way. If you don't know how to use NFL fantasy, it's a great little tool here. Yeah, they gave up 30 points to Miami. They gave up a bunch of rushing yards. So they didn't hold them. They held them for a good rushing yards per game. But I still like Ford. I think he'll get some PPR. They had 86 yards receiving. Did the Miami Dolphins. So I think Jerome Ford is up for a nice little receiving chunk of yards too. So he's my elevate, somebody who might be on the fringe who you started last week or maybe you didn't. But I think you wheels up him this week.
Okay, I like it. I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna bet you this is the last time I put him in the elevate section of our show because we like to pick fringe guys. Thankfully I drafted this guy a lot. Didn't start him anywhere last week and have already talked about him. I'm going J.K. Dobbins versus the Carolina Panthers, dude. I think he is, minus something bad happening. I think he's lock and load from here on in, dude.
Yes. Yeah. He looks like he is a top 15, at least RB, maybe top 10 RB.
I think if nothing bad happens, I think he finishes top 18 100%.
Yeah, I agree. And he's going to smash his totals if he stays healthy this year for sure. His overs and his Vegas totals. So, somebody who, like you said, targeting earlier, but just elevate this guy, keep him in your lineup. I think that's a good call moving forward. Wide receiver. This was interesting. I think was the hardest part for me because there's, this, you don't know what's going to happen with wide receiver each week, but I will tell you who I really, really liked. And he didn't, pop off the page with the stats or the points necessarily, but I mean, wide receiver 18, he kind of did. Brian Thompson Jr., his touchdown was against Jalen Ramsey. And I'm not going to show it here, even though I do have access because I paid for it, but I'm not going to show it because it is a copyright infringement on YouTube. I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. But my man went up against Jalen Ramsey in the end zone. They went after Jalen Ramsey. Do you understand that? He just got the most lucrative contract in NFL. He's the number 1 QB cornerback being paid right now. And they're like, that's the guy we're going after with our rookie. That's awesome. I love it. He bodied him up. He took the ball.
The pass was redonk, too.
Ridiculous. Just in a window. I mean, I love what I saw. These two guys, this is who my guy, Trevor Never Lawrence, has needed. He sucks. He's been bad. He's been on the fringe of being a good QB, and he doesn't have that over. This is what he needed. Gabe Davis, whatever. That's fine. Brian Thomas Jr., I think he's somebody that you play He was 4 for 4. He's got a good catch rate so far. It'll go down, of course, but he was targeted 4 times, caught the ball 4 times, has a touchdown, went up against Jalen Ramsey. That's a tough cornerback matchup. So I love this. This is like he should have been my buy low or whatever, but he's kind of like buy medium. He's not. He's kind of in between. But I'm all about Brian Thomas Jr. and he's a wide receiver 2 candidate theory as well. I wrote about all my guys are doing well this week. I'm just saying.
I'm with you. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do mine. Mine even less sexy. Didn't have the best game last week. But somebody that I drafted in a lot of leagues, late round guy, and so again, this is an elevate. So it's risky, but I like Jacoby Myers going up versus the Ravens this week because I do think that they're going to be down, and I think they're going to be scheming to make sure Devontae Adams doesn't beat them, and just the few opportunities that I saw when Jacoby Myers got the ball in his hand, he just pops, man. Like I'm like, great. Man, he looks like Devontae Adams. Like he's just fast. He's just electric when he gets the rock. So I could just see them, kind of dealing with Devontae Adams being someone that the Ravens take away, and Jacoby Myers getting, having a better week than he had this past week. And he was still, right around 10 points in PPR. So, if that's his floor, okay, and maybe he gets in the end zone this week and he's up 18, 19 points.
Yeah, I like that. We had a question from Noah K in the chat. I want to give him a shout out real quick. It said, should I trade Zeke, Jaden Reed, and CMC for Bijan and Marvin Harrison, 12-team full PPR? That's a fucking sex question. I love that. That's a fucking great question. And my answer would be no as well.
No.
Yeah, no. I love that. That's a great question, though. I think it's tremendous to bring that kind of content onto the show. No, okay, you're the man.
Yeah.
Because that's a fucking loaded fucking. I mean, if we disagreed, we could have fought for minutes about this. But I agree with you because I think Marvin Harrison's a rookie. Give him a chance to warm up. Bijan, the Pittsburgh's defense actually is pretty fucking good. Watt is a maniac. TJ Watt is an MVP candidate for defense. He is just sick. Right. He's got everybody scared. He jumps off sides every play. They're afraid to call it. So that guy's a badass guy. So I think that he will improve. And I think, with that being said, I don't want any of, Zeke personally. So, but great question.
Well, he said he's going to trade Zeke, Jaden Reed, and CMC for Bijan and Marvin Harrison. Like, I first of all, I wouldn't trade Jaden Reed and CMC for Bijan and Marvin Harrison. So, and then you're throwing in Zeke, who got a TD. Yeah.
Kind of wild. So, good question. That's a good question. I love
what we're
questions.
here for. Send them our way.
Yes. Yeah. I like your Jacoby Myers play. They will need to chuck it to get in. All right. My tight end is, guess what? Isaiah Likely.
Me too.
With that being said, because everyone's going to play him, Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers looked good. He looked good. I would put Brock Bowers in there. He looked smooth, just silky. I love it. He looked like he could fit in there. So along with your Jacoby Myers, I think Brocky gets some too. I think he's going to show what his tight end chops are about. This is a tight end friendly game, right? You got Raiders, you got Ravens, you've got Mark Andrews, Brock Bowers, Isaiah Likely. They're so hot right now. This is a tight end city. So I think all these guys will be trying to show out. They want each other. Think about like tight end. You want to like do the most push-ups with the tight ends around. Like you want to be good around the good tight end. So it's a rookie. He looks like he's been a 40-year-old grizzled vet with his hairline. That guy looks old as shit. So I'm all about Brock Bowers this week. If you don't have Isaiah Likely, put some Brock Bowers in your pipe and smoke it. So yeah. Following up on some things in the DMs here, agreed. But you got to think Worthy's his routes, his only increase, his participation in the offense. They trusted him with 2 targets. He got 2 touchdowns. So you could dangle and get a lot for him if you want. Right.
And he almost had another touchdown too.
He almost had another one too.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
offense, I think I want that. I want Worthy.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I mean, you want big plays. Devin Etchen's a big play guy too. You want big plays. I would not, so rest of the season, I would say Jaden Reed, Pickens, and Amari Cooper for me. Well, maybe it depends. If Jameis comes in there, it goes Jaden Reed, Amari Cooper, and then Pickens for me. But also, I need to see Deshaun Watson just cart it off. He needs to be sent to a massage parlor. So, but thank you. I appreciate it. About to sub or not, I appreciate you jumping in. So, it's always good.
Yes, appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would you want back, Mike, if you're trading Worthy? If you're getting rid of him, I would expect a top 24 wide receiver or running back if I'm trading Worthy for somebody who, he's top 10 so far. I would want somebody who has upside running back wise. You're looking at a Kenneth Walker. I mean, it's a high pick, but yeah, who would you trade? David Montgomery. Who would you want if this guy needs Worthy to be able to kind of recoup some value? He's got Marvin Harrison as well, but he's been hit with some Puka news, which is not great. Mm-hmm. He went wide receiver heavy in the beginning.
Man, I think I'd rather have Worthy than Marvin Harrison right now.
I agree. I agree. Mean, offense is just better.
Yeah. I just think when you see something like that, so I didn't draft a ton of Worthy. I think I got my wife to get him in a league. I might have got him in a league.
He went too early.
But the thought process, everybody's thought process was on Worthy is that the Chiefs stink at drafting wide receivers. They've drafted McCole Hardman. They've tried to draft the Tyreek Hill guy before, and it didn't work out. So we all have this trauma, right? This fantasy trauma. Well, I think you should erase it based on week 1 because he looks like he's electric, and he's not McCole Hardman. He's something new.
Football sense. He's got better football sense. He knows where to run, how to run, not to run into people.
He looks like a new version of Tyreek Hill on the Chiefs, to the moon, baby. I mean, the problem with Marvin Harrison Jr. is what you said too. Kyler Murray is not good at downfield throws, so that it really hurts his value, man.
Yeah. He needs Jaden Daniels or somebody else. He needs somebody who can throw it downfield really far.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, no, I like all these. All right, so with that being said, I wish we could rank all these friends and keep talking forever, but we need to get to our mitigate section of the show. DST. I'm elevating the Ravens, by the way, because they're playing Vegas. So I think the Ravens are a good play this week, even though they sucked last week. That's my play.
Chargers at Carolina.
Yeah, you would, you would. Yeah. They're 4th ranked. I think that's a great call. Yeah, not bad at all. All right, mitigation. Who are you mitigating at quarterback? And if you don't know, we do start sit, but it's elevate, mitigate, and then I'm not going to eviscerate anybody yet, just because it's.
I have some eviscerate candidates, so we'll see.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Dontavian Wicks is getting eviscerated, probably.
That's one of my guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, continue. Who are you mitigating?
Caleb Williams looks like he's riding pine till he pops off. Till I see it.
Until he's popping,
baby.
His ass is dropping.
Yep. On the Texans, tough matchup.
Yes.
Don't like what I saw week 1. No, thank you. He's riding fine. I'm not. I think he's going to be good, but I think he's a rookie, and just like everyone said, it's going to be up and down. And till it's up, he's staying on my bench.
It's down until it's up. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm mitigating Dak Prescott this week. He's playing against New Orleans, and New Orleans, yes, they played against a shitty Carolina team, but New Orleans is not bad. They're not bad. I do like New Orleans. And so Dak played well last week. He still got 11 points. And this is the same kind of thing that happened last year too. Dallas's defense is so good that sometimes they don't need Dak. I mean, they don't. Sometimes they don't. And they didn't need him in that game. They had CD. CD was okay. They didn't need them. Their defense was just, sacking, terrorizing, Mike Zimmering, one-eyed willying everybody. So I just don't know if Dak is going to be needed in this game to raise up. And so I'm saying I'm sitting Dak as the QB. There's other options you have, then I would just play it because it's a little disappointing coming off of a matchup against Cleveland where you knew he'd struggle. So if you had Dak, you're already willing to kind of sit him since you probably saw him last week, and just keep him on the bench for a little bit more.
Yep. All right. RBs. I'm going Javonte Williams versus Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. That's a great call. Bench all of the Denver Broncos running backs in this game. All of them.
I mean, how about our boy Jaleel McLaughlin was getting first and second down work in that game as well.
And PPR work, too. He was all over the place.
Ton of PPR work. So, Javonte Williams, I don't think I have any shares anywhere of him. But if I did, he's riding pine right with Caleb Williams till something changes.
Yeah, they're Pine Riders. You can't even find him on the first page. You're not finding him. Yeah, it's not great. Did Hunter Lupke outscore him? That'd be bad. No. My guy is DeAndre Swift. I found him down here, RB 42. If you drafted DeAndre Swift, you're on the Caleb Williams train now. Just kind of this dystopian universe of not being great. And then his matchup this week, it's not great either. You don't want to have a bad matchup. And the Bears. God bless them. They're trying their best out there, kids. They're doing the best they can. Do you know who they play this week?
Michael? The Texans, right?
They play the Houston Texans. And this is what's crazy. The Houston Texans right now, if you go to fantasy points against, and this is by position, which I love. It's a great tool for the NFL. Let's go down and see. Houston only gave up 10 fantasy points to Jonathan Taylor. They gave up 48 yards. That's it. That's all they gave up. No receiving work. And so Houston's defense is not too bad against the rush there. That's pretty stout. I like that. Holding Jonathan Taylor to 48 rushing yards, or at least the team to 48 rushing yards. Meanwhile, they rushed for 175 against them with Joe Mixon. I think that just shows you they have a dominant, kind of scheme that they're up against. And I like Houston, and I don't like Chicago. And I don't think DeAndre Swift's a good play. I would sit his ass on the bench. That's what I would do. Just sit your ass down. So that's my mitigate for RB. What about for a wide receiver for you? Who you mitigating?
Okay. I am going Calvin Ridley versus the Jets.
That's a great call.
Yeah. Is he going to get sauced?
He should get sauced. I mean, they could sauce Hopkins, but he's so old now that.
Well, dude, that was another thing I didn't mention in the beginning. How about DeAndre Hopkins comes out and is like, my back is broken, like Mike Tyson. Like,
I got a broken back.
I got a broken back. Like, that was like I drafted so much DeAndre Hopkins. Like, he was my fifth wide receiver on the team. And then he comes out the day before. Like, it's spinal. I broke my knee. He's like, I have a torn MCL. I was like, you have a torn MCL? I did not know that.
Why are you not telling us this?
Another week one, just adjust the ranks, dude.
Yeah.
I thankfully he's not like somebody I built my teams around, but he's like my fifth wide receiver on so many teams. So I was like, I'm getting him as my fifth wide receiver. Of course, I'm going to take DeAndre Hopkins. And then meanwhile, he broke his back. Well, so I don't think Sauce is going to be worried about spinal DeAndre Hopkins. I think it's going to be Calvin Ridley lockdown.
I'm trying to find this post. It's a retweet. I retweeted earlier, and spare me a second as I roll through. It's the interception from Will Levis. Did you see the interception from Will Levis?
One where he falls on his knees. And
yes.
Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'll find it eventually, but it's just so terrible. That's who Calvin Ridley's getting the football thrown to him by. That's his guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good. That's bad. And against Sauce, that's terrible. I don't like it at all. It's spinal. Yeah. It's spinal. That's a great call. Such a funny part. It's spinal. Yeah. Calvin Ridley mitigated. I'm with you. All right. We're running a little long today. That's okay. It's the first episode. We had to bullshit. I'm mitigating David Njoku this week. He's a little banged up already. He might not
I
play.
think he has a high ankle sprain.
He's got a high ankle sprain, right? So I don't think
I think he might be mitigated by
injury.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if what his status was going to be, but I was going to say if he is a game time, just do not play him. The Jags are pretty stout against the tight end position too. They got a nice little linebacker crew, so I would just stay away from Njoku. And then also, I mean, I'm just mitigating him moving forward with Deshaun Watson too. Like it's not looking good.
Well,
in
he
general.
was playing good, man.
He was
the only one that was doing his thing. He was the only one. I mean, he was just he's such a monster.
Ford.
Yeah. But
so
I did for my tight end, I did Dalton Kincaid, another listen, I rough, but dude, he just wasn't factoring in there. So I don't know, man. If you have, I'm sure you don't. I'm sure it'd be rough, but like if you can get Isaiah Likely, and I have Dalton Kincaid, I'm going to try and get Isaiah Likely, dude. Like I don't think it. I think it's fluky, but meanwhile, rough week one with a lot of different stuff. Dalton Kincaid, just it's rough. Just not what we thought this offense. We thought he was going to be the number one target getter on the offense, and he was just getting ghosted all game.
He had one catch for 11 yards, guys.
Yeah. Is that his only target too?
Yeah.
How many targets did he have?
I think he had 2 targets, maybe.
Yeah.
Rough. Not good. You don't like to see it. That's bad. I'm with you. He's definitely mitigatable. All right. Who
are we cutting? You're cutting Dontavian Wicks.
I am cutting him. I'm also the Chicago defense. I'm mitigating them against Houston. By the way, I think they had a really good game last week, and they're a defense that you might want to roll with. I would not play them. I know they got a good DB core, but I just would not play them. Yeah, that's just not. I do believe that they are. Are they on the road? Yeah, they're almost 7-point dogs on the road. So I don't want that defense. I'm out on that defense. So
double stampedes.
All right, and then Dontavian Wicks eviscerated, and then who are you eviscerating?
Dontavian Wicks as well, just because of the Jordan Love situation.
Yes.
If he wasn't there, I'd say hang on to him. But it is funny to sit here and just have last week been advocating for Dontavian Wicks and Antonio Gibson and Marvin Mims. We were all I was advocating for rounders. And I have these guys on different teams, and they are getting cut. I am getting rid of each one of those guys on my team.
Yes. Yeah, I already got rid of Taysom, the package hill, before even.
Yep, Taysom could go too. I mean, just gimmicky.
They're sexy when you get them in the draft. It's always good when you're talking about how you're going to use them and play video games with them, and you're going to wear the glove all summer. All that shit doesn't happen.
So we do stacks of cash. So we have what are our levels again? We have platinum, gold, and silver.
No, we've got diamond, gold, and silver.
Okay, diamond, gold, and silver. All right, I'll tell you all my guys, and then we can figure out which one.
Okay.
So for diamond, I'm going Baker and Evans. That's 13-4.
Nice.
Gold is that the next one? Gold.
Yes.
Gold. I'm going Lamar and Likely. That's 12,500.
Sexy.
And then silver, is that what we said?
Yeah, silver.
Silver. This is where Jaden Daniels comes in.
Okay.
I like Jaden Daniels paired up with Brian Robinson. That's the only guy he has eyes for. He can't really play just like Caleb Williams didn't look good. Bo Nixon. Look, it's hard to play this game, dude.
Right.
But he moves around, and Brian Robinson gets open.
That's a good. I like this.
It's a 12K stack versus the Giants, dude.
Yeah. I like that.
I think you get all the touchdowns this way.
Yes, I put them in. So here's my stack. My first stack is Mahomes and Worthy, and that is 13-1, I believe. My next stack is Goff at 64, and then I got to figure out what Jameson is. Hold on. 64, and I'm not sure if I added correctly, and then 53, so that is 11-7, right?
What 50? How much is Goff? 64.
I think he's 64. Let me see.
So that's 11-7. Man.
11-7.
Okay.
And then my my silver stack is terrible. It's Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors at like 11-2. So it's I like yours way better. Mine's doo-doo, but
You like my silver stack? You want to do it again?
I like this. This is good. What do you think though? Did you want to go with Mahomes and Worthy, or were you interested at all in my
I like
second stack?
Mahomes and Worthy. I like your stacks minus your silver stack.
Yeah, me too.
You make the call. I'm
into this.
down.
I'm into this. This is fine. This is fine. I'm not. This is $3 in one of a big tournament, and so this is going to be very unique, and I like that uniqueness just from the start of the build.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's start there, and then let's just play around and see what else we want to do. We can look for other RBs. Guys have caught my eye so far. Do include you got Kyron at 68. Yeah, you've got Ramondre.
Pacheco is getting a ton of receiving.
And you know what? I love Pacheco because Cincinnati just got run over by Ramondre. Like literally run over by Ramondre.
I like Pacheco.
Yeah, let's put Pacheco in there. That's a good one. All right. Wide receivers. I want to play Jameson in this game.
You want to do it?
I do. What do you think? Do you want to put him in here?
I think the price is good enough where
it's 53.
Yeah.
So
I don't mind it.
You want to run it back with either Godwin or with Mike Evans?
I think Mike Evans is. I think there's no stopping this guy. I think it's just. That's why I said if I had Marvin Harrison or Amon-Ra St. Brown, I would trade him for Mike Evans.
Yeah. Hey, guess what we're gonna do? Because they're all cheap, we can just put Worthy in here anyway. You know what I mean?
There you go.
We got Pacheco and Worthy. We're game stacking. We just don't have the quarterback. That's fine. And let's get a defense real quick that's cheap and manageable here. Where are your guys expensive? The Chargers. They're not. They're 34. We can put that in there. That's not too bad. And we're at 880. So you want to put in a little cheapy tight end here, or likely's 4.8. You want to put in likely?
He's 4.8. I mean, then we're gonna have a poo flex. It's up to you.
Well, let's just see what we have. We've got a $4,000 flex, right? So let's look and see if there's any upside at 4K.
Okay.
These are kind of like the backup running backs in this zone of 4K. I get down to the 3 9s and see who kind of comes along here. Okay, so here we go. We got Demarcus Robinson might be a great play at 4K. Yeah, let's play him. I'm already sold on that.
I like it.
Okay, here's our lineup. We got Jaden Daniels at QB. We did a unique roster construction where we synced him up with a little stack attack from the RB position with Brian Robinson Jr., Isaiah Pacheco, Jameson Williams, Mike Evans, Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Likely, Demarcus Robinson, and the Chargers. We'll update this entry. Sold. Hope it updates. Update, my friend. Don't you? I just got to search for my location. I don't know, searching for location. We'll get it up there. Anyway, while we're doing that, let's get to our trace tweets. It used to be 3 tweets. Now it's rated X, which I like.
Mine's down.
I'll let you start with yours. You want to start with yours?
Yep. This is Rashee Rice after the game.
Oh, I like this. I saw this one. I already liked it and retweeted it. This is Rashee Rice after they won the game against Baltimore.
That one made me.
That's loud. Oh, Rashee Rice. Oh man, bro.
Yeah. It's the car flying over the hill, and
it's hilarious. If you're listening online. Okay, I like yours. Here, mine's a deeper dive. First of all, I'll just show you this. This is just kind of cool. I like this. This is Barstool's. No, that's the wrong one. This is Barstool's tweet. Take a look who they used in this tweet. It says Browns fans realizing how much time is left on Deshaun Watson's contract.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It really is. Yeah.
So if you don't know the history of this is my tweet last year. They put the video on here from Scott Simpson, where you lost Joe Burrow and you lost Mark Andrews at the same game, and I tweeted it out, and it went viral. Their tweet has about the same as mine did. This video now has been seen over 5.5 million times on the internet. So
That's awesome.
shout out to Barstool, but that's not what I wanted to show. I wanted to find this. I got to find it. I hope I found it. I don't know if I found it. I thought I sent it in here earlier, way earlier. Let me look and see. Oh man, I did not. That was my tweet. I don't know who won because that's just me. Here, I'll do this as my tweet instead. Okay. This is also from Barstool. This is Billy, this is Deshaun Watson. We gave up 3 first-round picks for him, and he makes $230 million fully guaranteed. His defect is that he's really bad at playing quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I'll save it for next week. But basically, what I was looking to try to share with you guys was there was a punishment where somebody had to go to a bar. I don't know if you saw this. They had to go to a bar, and for every drink they drank, they got a half an hour out of bar jail. And they started at 6 a.m, and my guy was getting lit up. He was hammered. He was doing shots and seltzers. He got kicked out of the bar. It was epic. I think in the end, he drank like 24 drinks altogether. He's a young guy, looked like he was in his early 20s, wearing a Bears jersey, just, and the best part was that they chronicled it, and they just kept being like next shot or next drink, and they did all of the drinks. So you could just see his journey, and some of them were videos and some of them were pictures. And it was epic because this guy, 20 drinks deep, he gets kicked out of the first bar. He goes to another bar. He looks so hammered. I don't even know how he got in the bar. And he completes his mission. He started drinking at 6 a.m. and he was done by 5:30. Instead of spending 24 hours, he spent less than 12 hours because he got so many, 24 drinks off. That's 12 hours off, whatever, 25 drinks. So man was a champ. I'll find it and just share it with you. But yeah, these fantasy football punishments are going to kill somebody. Literally, they are going to kill somebody. And you love to see it. So, all right, last question before we get out of here. Christian.
Oh, wait, who wins 3 tweets? I guess we didn't do our third.
I think you win. Yeah.
All right, here's the third tweet. It's not that great either. Pull mine up because I want to see if you saw this. This is from Sleeper headquarters. And it's a picture of you have it pulled up.
Oh yeah, hold on, it's coming up.
Okay. It's a picture of Joe Pesci right before he gets assassinated in Goodfellas.
Yep.
And it says, "Our notifications intern showing up to work tomorrow." Did you notice that? Were you getting did that happen to you? Because I think the joke is
they notified everybody.
No, I got David Njoku is out. I got that notification literally 30 times. That didn't happen to you?
Oh, I turned off all my notifications for Sleeper because of any type of bullshit like that. So I don't even, you could trade me Marvin Harrison for a bag of turds and I wouldn't even know.
Well, I was going to make a joke. My once a month tweet was like, "Hey, I know David Njoku's out," but then I saw other people were showing it was different players. So something was wrong. I don't know what button the intern pressed, but I thought that was funny.
That's hilarious. I did not get that update. But last thing before we get out of here, what are your thoughts on Amon? If you could get Mixon and Debo for him, do I? Yes.
I would do it. I would do it. That's what we're talking about.
Yes,
that's what we're talking about.
Do it. Do it right now.
It's not like Amon-Ra is going to be bad, but that's great value. I think.
Yes, Christian.
I would do, that's good question. That's exactly the kind of stuff that we would say to do in this situation.
You have the millionaire's blessing.
You do
on that trade for sure. So, all right, Michael, let you close it out like you always like to.
Hey, pain, heartache, destruction, a worse week 2 than week 1 for all your opponents in week 2, and peace and love everywhere else.